All right. Yay. We are live. Good morning. Good morning. I hope you are having a great morning. And we are going to be doing Wake Up and Makeup. And I kind of screwed some things up this morning. My goal was to actually do my makeup with you, and I'm in such a routine that I just went ahead and did my makeup. And so I'm going to show you what I did, even though I already did it, but I will show you where I applied it and all of that other stuff. So we are just going to jump in. Of course, I did my Mary Kay skincare routine because that is the most important thing to making your makeup look amazing. The key with makeup is blending. So that's the second biggest thing. But the first thing is if you are not using a good skincare program, hands down, that will make or break your look. And I can prove it to you. So, one of the things, if you've met with your consultant, whether in person or over Zoom, one of the things that we always like to do is show you with using the skincare, just our cleanser, our moisturizer, and our foundation versus just a foundation, or even just throwing on some type of moisturizer and foundation or whatever hodgepodge. It makes such a big difference. So one just looks like a makeup artist did it, and one looks like a mortician did it. So if you feel like your makeup sometimes looks like a mortician and caked on, and you're like, I just don't understand, you need to figure out the skincare routine. So talk to your consultant, but we're not going to do that today. We are going to talk about the makeup side. So the makeup side is, everybody kind of has the routine. I'm just going to show you what my routine is. And basically for me, that means I kind of start at the top and I just work my way down. And so after I had done my mascara, I'm like, oh crap, I wanted to save that for you guys. So I did not do my lips. So my lips are undone, but everything else is done. So there you go. Sorry, guys. But I start at my eyebrows. So that is the biggest thing. And if you guys have a little fun sample pack, your consultant may have popped one of these in the mail to you. It has your eyeshadows, your cheek card, cheek color, your lipstick, all of that stuff. Go ahead and pull that out. Then there's probably going to be some applicators, maybe an eyeliner or lip liner sample in there too, maybe a mascara. And go ahead and pull that out and you can just kind of walk through it as I'm talking about it. So the first thing that I do is start with the eyebrows. So here's, eyebrows are really an underrated feature, but it makes such a big difference as far as when you are just pulling your whole makeup look together. So think of almost like you put a picture on a wall, right? You take a picture, you get it developed, and you just put it on a wall. And so let's see, do I have anything in the background? Not really. So anyways, think of a picture. Okay. So you put on the wall and you're like, okay, I see it. But then did you ever see when you go into like Michael's or even like Hobby Lobby and they have like the pictures or Cute Saying or whatever, but they have like the mat behind it and then they have it in a really nice picture frame. And it just makes such a big difference for presentation. So that difference is exactly what doing your eyebrows versus not doing your eyebrows, the difference that it makes. Okay. Are you with me? So how do you do your eyebrows? What are you supposed to do with them? How does it work? Right. So first of all, I would recommend either getting them threaded or waxed. If you're kind of more of a pro at that because you've been doing it a while, just make sure you are upkeeping with them, tweezing them, whatever. And you may have reached a point in your life where you're like, girl, I do not need to do any of that stuff anymore. And that's okay. I'm jealous. I'm waiting for that day. So anyways, so make sure that you're upkeeping your brows, just like your hair, it's maintenance. Okay. And so some of you guys might have really long eyebrows, and that's okay. So you actually want to, and you can talk to your hairstylist about this, but you can actually trim, not trim, make them weird, but actually trim and make them really professionally groomed. You can trim your eyebrows. And that's actually what I do because it makes such a big difference. My eyebrows are very thick and very bushy. And so when they grow out, it's just not attractive at all. And so I do go back in and I actually do trim them and then I pencil them in just to give it a softer, more polished look, because if not, it just makes such a difference and not in a good way. All right. So, so that's tip number one, actually groom your eyebrows. Step number two is if you are holding something vertically beside your nose, okay? And unless your nose is crooked, that's okay too, but hold it vertically beside your nose. And that's really where your eyebrow should start, okay? And a lot of times it does, unless we kind of tweeze in too far, and that's okay, then just kind of pencil in what you need to. Another thing for kind of figuring out the placement of your eyebrows is from the corner of your nose to the corner of your iris, which is your colored portion. So when you look straight ahead, that's really where you want your arch to be. If it's there, great. If it's not there, not a big deal. Okay. That's probably the least of everything for your eyebrows. The biggest thing with your eyebrows that makes the biggest difference is from the corner of your nose to the corner of your eye. Okay. And that's where your eyebrow should end. Okay. So I was hoping it ended there. I did not measure anything, but you know, when you've been doing it for so long, you just kind of know where they go. So that's really where your eyebrows should stop. Now, a lot of times, if they do stop there, they're just like a little wispies and stuff out there, and you're not really seeing them. So when you pencil in your eyebrows, it makes such a difference because instead of just having more of it kind of in through here, we're kind of extending it and we're actually giving it that full frame for our face, which is exactly what your eyebrows are. It's the frame of your face, just like the like I was saying with the picture and the really nice picture frame and the mat around it and everything. That really is what your eyebrows are for your face. So it just creates that picture, that frame for your eyes, instead of looking at somebody and be like, well, I see your eyes, but it's not really framed or doesn't, I find them, but they're not really standing out. It doesn't wow your eyes. Okay. So when I pencil in my eyes, basically my eyebrows, basically what I'm doing is I'm just kind of tracing on the top with my eyebrow pencil, my eyebrow liner. I personally use brunette. If I do have more blonde highlights going through it, sometimes I like to do a lot of blonde highlights, then I will actually bounce down to dark blonde, which I find is good for most women, is either dark blonde or brunette. Unless you have more like salt and pepper hair, then blonde actually works really well for that. And if you're more of like a bronze skin tone, some girls get away with like a dark brunette, but we also have a oh my gosh, brown to black. And that one's really good too, especially for more of like the ebony. And so we have a variety of different ranges for that. If you are more of a redhead, I'm going to say probably a dark blonde is going to be more of your secret sauce for that. So, okay. So I just kind of pencil in the top, just short feathery strokes and just kind of extend it out. Same thing on the bottom. Underneath, I'm just kind of penciling it out. Okay. Then I'm coloring it in out here. Okay. Because I do have just some wispies and stuff. So I'm actually creating that line for my eyebrow. And then I'm just going back and I'm just kind of coloring it in is all I'm doing. And once I have that on for both eyes, okay, then I'm just going back through. This is an amazing brush. First of all, if you don't have a brush set, this is our professional makeup artist brush set. It is phenomenal. It comes with the basics of the brushes. I think it's like 55, so it's really reasonable and it will last you for years if you take care of this. So just meaning make sure you wash your brushes. And when you wash your brushes, you do not dry your brushes vertically. You always dry your brushes horizontally because you don't want the water to get into here, which is where everything is attached. Water will ruin your brushes. So make sure when you're drying them. And how often do you wash your brushes? In a perfect world, daily. In a mama's world, like realistically, I would say once a week. Okay. So make sure that you're washing. I personally love to use my cleanser. I use my Mary Kay cleanser. I actually have a bar. It's a Mary Kay Time Wise 3-in-1 bar soap. It's a Time Wise formula that we have, but it's in a bar soap format. And I do that because my husband is like, I am not using whatever to wash my face. So he uses the bar. And then I just kind of started using the bar and I really like it a lot. But it has the same Time Wise formula that we have in our normal stuff. It's just in a bar format. And I like that I can use it on my body, on my kids, whatever. But more of the story is I like to clean it. So if this is your brush or your bar of soap, for your face, I just like to use this and I just kind of keep going like this and I just kind of keep rinsing it around. So you never want to take them and have your bristles where they all go out, right? Because you'll ruin it like that. But you just kind of take it and I'm just swirling it and I'm just making sure that all the stuff comes out for the color. Another great tip that my girlfriend turned me on to is they have I don't even know the correct terminology for it, but they have like mats. It's a cleaning mat for your brushes. And it has like these little knobbies and stuff on this mat. So if you think of a mat and it has these little knobbies and stuff sticking up, and then you just run it over there and that helps to clean it as well too. So that's another little, I'm sure you can find on Amazon. makeup brush cleaning mat and see what they have on there, but they're relatively inexpensive. So translation is make sure you wash your brushes. And I know makeup artists always recommend Dawn dish soap. I personally don't care for that method. I think it changes the texture of the bristles, but you do you and figure out what works for you. So moral of the story, once I'm done penciling in, I just kind of take this and I just kind of go back through and I just brush it out a little bit. So if I get like a little bit too much product in there, maybe it's looking matted or whatever, I just go back through, brush it out. And a lot of times I intentionally put too much in so I can just go back through, brush it out, and it just gives like a perfect feathered look. I love that. So this is a great brush that you can add into your brush collection. This is actually sold individually, and I believe it's called the eyeliner eyebrow brush. And so this of course is for your eyebrows, and this is actually an eyeliner brush, which I absolutely love. So if I remember, I'll talk to you about that a little bit later. So that is your eyebrows. Makes a huge difference. Try it once. And the other thing, when you're trying something new, you know, we look at ourselves and we're like, oh my gosh, you know, whatever. If we're not used to it, take your cell phone, right? This is my pretend cell phone. Take your cell phone, hold it in arm's length as far as you can get it. So at least, you know, 2.5, 3 feet. And then I want you to hold your cell phone and I want you to take a selfie. If you've ever done that, you can actually, if this is my cell phone, you hold it between this finger and this finger, okay? And then you would use your thumb for your, where you push your thing on your phone to take a shot, okay? So take a selfie like that, arm's length, fully extended. And when you do that, you're seeing how everybody else sees you instead of us seeing ourselves so close in the mirror and picking out everything. And we're like, oh my gosh, like da 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 da, right? Whatever we say. But when you take a selfie from an arm's length, you're seeing how everybody else sees you and you're seeing that flawlessness and what it actually looks like. Okay. Because anybody can see anything. Have you ever looked in a magnifying mirror? I don't care if you have perfect skin, like that is traumatizing. So, all right, let's move on. So your eyeshadow. Okay. Eyeshadow is, you know, can be kind of scary for some people. And, but I promise you, it really is just blending. So when you're looking and you're like, oh my gosh, right? What happened? Or I look like I got a black eye or whatever. It is really just blending, you know, 9.5 times out of 10. Okay. There's very few eye looks that you can't salvage unless you're doing black all over your entire eye. And you're also not following the placement rules. And by placement rules, here's just a really quick, easy, you know, how do I know if I'm applying it where I should be? So your eyeshadow always stays. You remember that magical line, corner of your nose to the corner of your eye for your eyebrow? Your eyeshadow always stays from here in, okay? Basically from your eyebrow to your eyebrow. That's where your eyeshadow goes. It does not come out. It does not go up or out. Okay. Unless you're doing a specifically winged eye look. And that's not what I'm talking about today. We're not doing specialty looks. We're just doing a normal, I have a job interview. I have a wedding to go to. I just want to start learning how to wear makeup. I want to get back to wearing makeup, that type of stuff. Okay. So think of your straight, holding it vertically and corner of your nose to the corner of your eye. That is your placement for your eyeshadow. So sometimes when you bring eyeshadow like down or out, and especially if you're using like darker colors, it can get a little crazy. So that's what I'm saying, like follow that placement and you'll be fine. If you just blend, 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 blend. And if you do get it when you're doing your eyeshadow, you're like, oh crap, it came out too far. It came, you know, whatever. Then just take a little bit of your foundation and just kind of tap it. Or if you use powder foundation, then use a little bit of a, concealer, something that's going to give you just a little bit of a liquid consistency and just kind of tap it. So you're just taking it away, right? And it just kind of gives it that fresh look. So, all right. So as far as for placement for eyeshadows, so you can do 1, 2, 3, 4 or more eyeshadows. I personally have on 3 today. You know, a really great thing, and I actually don't have it with me. You can talk to your consultant about it or look it up on marykay.com. But if you are basic, or if you like super versatility, if you're just a busy mom or a busy woman and you just are like, I need something that's got to pull its weight and is versatile in more than one area, like you know, what is it? So one thing is we have our liquid eyeshadow. I absolutely love it. So you can use that so many different ways. There's multiple shades that we have a really light, um, a little bit gold. I don't even know it's gold. It's called Light Beam, and it's super versatile. It's super neutral. It doesn't matter if you are more of a warmer girl, a cooler girl, whatever. It looks great on everybody. And you can put that the entire area from your lashes up to your eyebrow, from corner to corner. You can do that whole area in there. It's not going to look weird. It just gives you just a little, I don't want to say sparkle, because I know some people are like, oh my gosh, I don't want sparkle in my eyes. It'll, you know, show the aging. But this formula actually doesn't. It just gives a little bit of shimmer, and it just highlights. Its main purpose is for highlighting. So if you just want to have a little life to you and don't want to spend a ton of time in the bathroom, it's perfect. I use that for my mom look all the time. I'll throw in a little bit, maybe I'll add a little bit eyeliner or not, a little bit mascara, lips, and out the door you go. And so it's just really quick and easy. But I like it because you can also use that underneath your normal eyeshadows that you're used to using. Say like more of your, like your normal eyeshadows, your powder. Here, I'll grab you a thing. These are some really fun colors. Oh my gosh, you guys. And they just came out with 10, Mary Kay, makeup artist that we have, came out with 10 new looks. So these are the looks that I have been using and rocking and I love, but we still have these, but they came out with 10 new looks to be able to play, and they launched September 16th. So they just launched like what, yesterday? So there you go. So absolutely. And I looked through the new ones. Oh my gosh, you guys, they are some of my favorite colors that they use. I am so super, super, super stoked about it and excited to try them with my clients and customers and stuff. So anyways, but moral of the story is you can use your liquid eyeshadow and just use these colors right over top, because your liquid works as like a base, almost like an eye primer, so to speak. If you do have problem with your eyeshadow moving around or creasing, things like that, we have a phenomenal eye primer. And if you maybe are using things like a green, okay, sometimes green can be a little hard to see and show up on your eyes. And so the eye primer is perfect for that. So love our eye primer. But if you're a busy mama, sometimes you want things to multitask. And so that makes it a little bit easier for you. So our liquid eyeshadow is great if you want, boop, one shade, little mascara out the door, whatever. If you want to ramp it up, you can do liquid eyeshadow. You can do maybe another color or two. So our, let's see if I can show you. Our liquid eyeshadow, the Light Beam that I was telling you about, is kind of along that line right there. But let's say maybe you wanted to add a little bit of brown to it, okay? Just on the outer corner, so you still have that lightness for your, all over, and then you add just a little bit of brown. Well, you're just going to do that in the outer corners just to jazz it up. There you go. Perfect. Or maybe you want to add a little bit of like a rose gold to it. Okay. Or you could do like a little bit of purple or whatever. Okay. And our liquid eyeshadows, we have that color that I was showing you. We have more of like a rose gold, kind of almost like that, if that's showing up as rose gold at all. We have a like a brownish gray. It's called Meteor Showers is the other one. And then we have more of like a purple. And the purple is a little bit more like this. And you can make it darker or lighter just by the amount of blending that you're doing. So it can be darker or lighter either way, but super pretty colors. Okay, so let me get off the liquid eyeshadow kick. So you can do the second shade. You can also do the same thing with these as well too. You know, you can use a lighter one, and maybe you just want to use a little bit of something else out on the outer corners. Totally fine. But then you go to the third color and you're like, okay, so I have the one color down, I have the two colors, right? So lightest, darkest, that's kind of how you're always going to do anything from the lightest to the darkest. But what do I do with the third shade? So what I like to do with mine that I have found works with pretty much everybody's eye. Sorry, guys, forgot to put on do not disturb and I got a phone call. There we go. Okay, anyways, so with your third shade, you're going to put your lightest shade in here. And I'm going to tell you, it works for most people's eyes. But if you do have like severely hooded eyes, I'll kind of give you a little tip. So when you put your lightest shade in here, totally fine. Then what I like to do is I like to bring that second shade. So if you're using, let's say you're using 3 colors. Actually, this is what I have on this morning. Okay. So if you're using 3 colors, I'm putting this color in the inner corners. I put, all right, sorry guys, phone is blowing up. Oh my goodness. So when I do this, you can see that one is a little bit darker than the other. So this is the purple, and then this is the brown. Okay. So if I'm looking at it, I'm like, I'm not really sure how it's going to go on my skin, which one's going to be lighter or darker. The purple you can see is going to be lighter, and the brown is going to be definitely darker. So for me, what I did was I put my purple up in through here. Okay. So when you're doing that shade, you don't ever want to come down in this area. That's always your lightest. Okay. Then I did the purple up through here. Just think almost like a windshield wiper. I just went boop, 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 boop. And then for the third shade, all right. So in this case, it's the brown because that is the darkest one. What I did was, if you think of the letter V and you turn it sideways, okay, letter V, turn it sideways, that's actually how I did my third shade. Now, if you have super hooded eyes where sometimes that kind of like falls down over and you don't necessarily have that crease that you can see, what I like to do for that is, or even if you have deep set eyes, I'll kind of go into that in a minute. I like to kind of definitely put that second shade up in through here. And if your hooded eyes are kind of coming down where you're not even really seeing your eyelid, then I like to kind of bring that up and create my own crease. So, you know, if your hooded eye is more so down towards where your eyelashes are, you're going to bring that up and you're going to create your own crease in there. Okay. Does that make sense? You're going to create your own crease visually. So you're not going to follow what your crease line is, because all, you know, everything would just be like right here and you're not seeing it anyways. You're going to create your own crease. Okay. Now, if you have really deep set eyes, all right, so you've really deep set eyes, meaning your eyes are kind of set back, you have a really prominent brow bone. In that case, you're going to move that darker shade up onto your brow bone a little bit. Okay. And kind of go over where that second shade was. What is the purpose of that? So you're going to push anything that's dark is pushing it back. Anything that's light is going to help it recede. So you're going to make sure if you have deep set eyes that more of your eyelid, more in through here, is going to be lighter. Your darkness is going to be right in on your brow bone and just a little bit right out in through here, right? So you're not bringing it in a whole lot. You're just bringing it in just a little bit. Does that make sense? Let me know in the comments if you have any questions with that, okay? And I can do more of a specialized workshop for that too a little bit later. But so hooded eyes, you're going to create your own crease, okay, visually with the darkest shade. Deep set eyes, you're going to do up, okay? So bring it up on your brow bone a little bit more and create that darkness to kind of push that brow bone back, bring the lightness down in through here to pull that eyelid out. And what it does is it balances it. Instead of there being such a visual depth difference, you're going to balance it. So that way it's now even instead of being so far apart. Okay. So let's keep moving on. So we got that on and we're like, okay, that does not look right. Right. So light it 1, 2, 3. Okay. All you're going to do is you're going to take a brush, okay, clean brush, or a brush that you've used the lightest color on, but you're not going to, like after I just did my brown that I was showing you, I'm not going to take that with the brown and then blend all over. Why? Because you're going to get that brown all over. I don't want that. You're either going to blend with a brush that I've used for this one only, or you're just going to take a clean brush, and that's the easiest. Okay. So just take a clean brush. We also, do I have it in here? I don't. I have it in my own personal brush collection, but I don't have it here. No, I had something drop on the floor. I just want to make sure that I don't have that down here, and I don't. So that's up in my personal brush collection. Sorry, guys. But we have a brush that's very similar to this. It's fluffy, and it is a brush blender is really what it is. So you're just going to take it, and you're just going to kind of go blend, 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 because what you don't want to see is you don't want to see color 1, color 2, color 3. You want to have it go where it's kind of like those lines are very skewed because they're very blended, right? You don't want those harsh, crisp lines for sections, for your quadrants, so to speak. But you want it very blended. So if you look at mine, I just kind of have it blended and you can see where the color is, right? But you're not seeing those harsh lines of where I put 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So moving on, hopefully that makes sense. Let me know in the comments if you have questions. Then what I like to do is I do my eyeliner. So how do I do my eyeliner? Here's the eyeliner rules. Okay. If you want to look young and vibrant and youthful and professional, here's the rules. So when you do eyeliner on the top. That is non-negotiable. If you want to do it on the bottom, totally up to you. That's fine either way. I like to kind of do a little bit out on the corners, but that's up to you either way. One thing that you don't want to do is you don't want to take it and go like a racetrack, okay? Because that makes your eyes very closed and it looks very harsh. And 2022 is just more about like having color, but also looking natural too. So it's not about like these goth eyes, or anything like that. It's more subtle, but you can still jazz it up, right? But it's just making sure of where you're putting it. So bottom is non-negotiable, or I'm sorry, top is non-negotiable, bottom is optional. So when I do my eyeliner, what I typically will do is I'll put my head back and then I'll raise my eyebrows just to help kind of tighten that skin a little bit. And I will, some of you guys can kind of squint with one eye. If you can't, then just kind of go through a little bit. I still have both eyes open, okay? But I just kind of squint a little bit, or you can close it. And I just go boop, 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 short feathery strokes the whole way. I get to the outer corner and I extend it past my eye just a little bit. I'm not trying to do cat eyes. I'm not trying to do anything, but I just want to make my eyes open a little bit more. So I'll just kind of like actually right here is the end of my eye. You guys can't see that too well, but I bring it actually back a little bit. So maybe like, I don't know, is that 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, something like that. So just a little bit. And I'm just kind of connecting it. Now I am not doing, you guys can see my eyeliner. I am not trying to do a pencil thin eyeliner look. My personal 2 cents is if it's going to be pencil thin, what's the point in even applying it? But that's okay. If you like that pencil thin look, then that's fine. I will tell you though, that you don't want to pull and tug on your eyes. I see a lot of girls were like, and then it creates this like really straight line. And that's okay if you're 20, but by the time you hit 30 and 40, like that is not a great practice. That is a great way to ruin your eyes, have sagging and just like skin drooping, what do you call that? When it's really loose, you know how rubber band loses elasticity? That is a great way to do that to your eyes by pulling it. So you can do eyeliner that's just as cute, even thin if you wanted to, just don't tug on your eyes, okay? If you want to just hold it, you can totally hold it there, but just make sure you're not stretching it because that is doing a lot of damage to your eyes. And the same thing when you guys wear contacts, right? Contacts are such a great invention, but just make sure you're using a heavy duty eye cream because you are wrecking your eyes by stretching them and getting it in and getting it out and all that other stuff. So just make sure you're using a heavy duty eye cream because, oh my gosh, the difference that it will make for you for aging or not is huge. Okay. All right. So let me get off my soapbox. I would much rather talk to you guys about skincare any day than makeup, but I know that a lot of girls do love makeup. But my passion is in skincare, and wow, what a difference it makes when you use skincare consistently and a good quality too. What a difference. So, okay, eyeliner. So we did that. If you want to do the bottom a little bit, you can. Just make sure you're not doing it like on that water shelf in there, because when you're looking around throughout the day, it's not disappearing out the eyeliner, it's coming in. So that is a great way to set yourself up for medical problems later on down the road. So do not put it on your water shelf in there, okay, on your tear line or whatever you want to call that. Make sure you're keeping it right at your lashes or even just right underneath, all right? One of the things that I love that I was talking to you guys about earlier is this little eyeliner brush. So we have the eyebrow and then we have the eyeliner. You can actually take this and tap it into your eyeshadow. And I really like to kind of just take it and just apply just a little bit right on there. And it just gives it a really soft look. You can also do the same thing. Maybe you're like, oh crap, I'm out of my I don't know, blah, blah, blah eyeliner. Well, you can take it and use maybe a gray or a black, and then you can tip it with the color that you want. Maybe you want to have brown, or maybe you want to match the brown more to what you have on. Well, you can take it and tap it, and then you're just going to do the same thing either in place of eyeliner or right over top of your eyeliner. And I always kind of hold the brush. So if I'm going this way towards my nose, do you see how it's slanted towards my nose? Whatever direction I'm going is the way that it's slanted down too. So I would go, right, so you can see it on my skin. So I would go like this, and then I would flip it, and then I'm going to go this way. Okay. So placement as far as for the brush makes it really important. Now, if you just need just a little something on the tip, then you can take it for the tip and you can just kind of, freshen up where you need to. But otherwise, you're going to pay attention to where your slant is, because obviously if you hold it like this and you're trying to apply, you're going to have a much wider application than if you hold it the way it needs to. Okay. Hopefully that is making sense. So I love that brush. That's another great way to do eyeliner, especially if you like a really soft look. It is perfect for that. So, all right, let's keep moving along. So let's actually do your lips, and then we're going to do your cheeks. So the reason that I actually had a makeup artist say to me recently, and she said, if you do your lips first, you will have less of a problem applying your cheeks. And I'm like, really? And so what she was saying is, when you put on your lipstick, your lip gloss, your lip look, whatever you're putting on there, you will have that on. And then when you go back to apply your cheeks, you won't have to sit there and fuss. How many times have you guys, and it's happened to me a lot, you put on, you do your makeup just like I did. I even have my cheeks on. Okay. You guys can see that. And then all of a sudden you put on your lipstick and you're like, gosh, maybe I need to put a little bit more stuff on, like color. I just feel like all of a sudden I got muted out, right? Well, when you put on your lips first, you now have your entire look complete. Then you can go back through and add your cheek colors to the appropriate amount that you need to, so you're not feeling washed out. Okay. And I've tried that and I'm like, that actually works well. So there you go. So I'm going to do my lips. I personally, my favorite way to do my lips is with a lip liner and at least with a lip gloss. There's a lot of times where I'll throw in a lipstick, mostly just for the purpose of layering, not necessarily changing the color. Although in this case, I'll show you how to kind of layer a little bit and change the color. So in this particular one, I love medium nude. Okay. This is my ultimate favorite color for Mary Kay. Love our medium nude lip liner. And so what I'm going to do is, when you're doing lip liner, now here's how you don't look like grandma. Okay. So when you're doing your lip liner, you have that white or lighter color line around your lips. When you're doing your lip liner, you don't want to come out past all of that, because that's how you look made up. Okay. Look a little crazy. So we want to, all right, so we're just going to trace. And I do push my envelope a little bit. I try and push my envelope to as far out as I can, but without looking goofy. So I do kind of cover a little bit, but you just want to be aware. And then I not only trace, I go back and color them. And if you get up too far or whatever, you can just take your finger and just kind of wipe it off a little bit, or a Q-tip works great with a little bit of our eye makeup remover as well. Okay, so I like to color it in. One, because I like this color. It is more matte, so I would not necessarily wear this by itself, although some girls might. But I like it because it defines my lips. I like it because it helps keep everything on that I'm putting on afterwards, keep it on longer. And I colored in because I don't necessarily just want that line around my lips. I like to have that as the base color. So now in this particular instance, keep in mind, I am more I'm more ivory, maybe a really light beige. I probably was a couple months ago in the summertime when I had my more of a tan, but right now I'm a little bit more ivory. And I'm going to take what we call, this is our naturally buff. Okay, so it is really pale. I typically don't wear this. So you can see I was playing with that earlier. This is my personal one. This is how I usually wear it. And I like to put this over top. So I typically don't wear this shade by itself because it mutes out my lips and it just doesn't really do a whole lot for me with my skin tone. But I put this over top. And it just kind of tones it down a little bit. So I have like that lip liner around, and then the actual lipstick or lip color just tones it down for my skin tone. Okay. Then I'm going to take a little bit of beach bronze. Okay. And I'm just going to put right over top. I like the way our lip gloss feels. I like the way it smells. It's really moisturizing, although so is our lipsticks. But I also like a little bit of that glossiness, which is why I use lip gloss. And that is not right or wrong. That's just personal preference. So, okay, I have it on. Then what I like to do, you know how sometimes we get stuff on our teeth? My fingers are clean. I just washed them. But that stuff comes off on your lip, on your fingers then, instead of coming off on your teeth. So I like that. I don't have to worry about like, oh my gosh, do I have something on my teeth? I have lipstick on this time, you know, or whatever, because it keeps it in place and where it needs to. So there you go. So that's the lips. So now that I have that on, what I'll show you what I did for my cheeks. And I feel like, actually I applied my cheeks a little darker today, so I don't feel like I need to touch up really with them. I'm actually pretty happy with them. I know on camera it's super muted, but I have some things that I'm doing today. And so I need to look good for in person, not just, you know, camera necessarily. So I am not going to touch them up, but I will show you how I did them. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that there is a camera look and then there is a in-person look? So if you're doing something on camera, on Zoom, for pictures, all of that stuff, that is a very different look, meaning like you do want to make sure that you look like you're made up for pictures, because then it will look more natural. And if you're in person, you can back it down a little bit because obviously they're seeing you. But pictures a lot of times, or Zoom or whatever, will kind of mute things. Okay, so then the last thing that I want to do is I'll show you a little bit of highlight and contour. Do I do this stuff all the time every day? I do not, but I wanted to show you guys really how to do the extras in the and then some. So maybe you'll learn something today. Maybe you'll kind of take something away and be like, oh, let me try that. Talk to your consultant if you want to play with some different colors. I mean, my gosh, you guys, we have all of these. Plus, did I mention 10 new looks that just came out? And through the end of September, we have a makeover contest. So if you want to put an extra $500 or $1,000 in your pocket from the Mary Kay contest that we're doing, they are taking the top 13 winners, and they have $500 and $1,000 Mary Kay products. You know, everybody gets cash, but they also get products, and I forget what else, something else. And I think your consultant wins too. I'm sure she would love to have some extra money in her pocket, you know, in addition to that. So, so there you go. Talk to your consultant about that. But so, you know, like I said, I don't do this all the time, but I wanted to show you guys some options with it to hopefully, because everybody's coming with different levels of experience. So that way you can take something away for what you need. So this is our cheek brush. Okay. You guys can see that it's slanted, right? You can see that there. So what I like to do, there's actually an indent right here. That's where my finger goes. And what I do is for my contour, I do the utmost tip of it. Okay. So right up in here. Can you guys see that right there? And I'm going to take it and I do my bronzer. And then what I do is I just put it right in through here, right underneath my cheekbone. Okay. Right in through there. Both sides. You could also do a little bit on your forehead too, if you wanted to. If you have like that, you know, a little bit of the double chin that you can kind of see, and maybe that's, you know, we all have our stuff, right? And if that's your stuff, then fine. Here's how you fix it. So you take a little bit of bronzer and you rub it, and you just kind of blend. So did I mention anything that's dark helps to recede, anything that's bright helps to bring it out, right? So you just have a little bronzer, right on where that double chin is, not on your chin, but right on where your double chin is. And that will just kind of help to reseat it. If you have more of a square jawline, you can actually kind of bring it down in through here a little bit. Okay. Just kind of blend down, blend it out. And that helps just to give you more of that oval look. Okay. So then what you can do is if you want to do a highlighter, now I do not because I am more ivory, but if you're more beige and above, you can, if you want to do ivory, that's fine too. I just don't, but you have and obviously there's two different shades. So ivory, beige, bronze, ebony. And so for your highlighter, you would just take it. So we did the tip up here for the bronzer. We're going to do the bottom down here for your highlighter. So you would just kind of put it, and then all you're doing is just kind of putting it right in here. Okay. Do you see how it is with the bottom of the brush, not the middle and not the top? So you just kind of do it, and you're just going to do it right in through here. Okay. So not up in your eyes where that tender skin is. You're just going to do it right on the top of your cheekbone. Okay. So you still want like a finger width in here. So you're not getting in any creases or anything like that. You're just going right on top of your cheekbone. So now you have your bronzer, you have your highlighter, which means that your cheek color is going to go right in here. So then you're going to take your middle portion of your brush, you're going to put it right in your blush, and you're going to take it and you're going to blend. Okay. And I take it, I just kind of blend, and maybe I'll kind of go up and down a little bit. And so you don't want 1, 2, 3, right? Remember we talked about blending. You want to have where it goes from the highlighter to the color to the bronzer, and it stops. So you're going to have that blending in there. Okay. So bronzer, highlight, and then your cheek color. Okay. And that just goes right in there, and it gives it a really nice blended look with this particular brush. So there you go. Then to end everything, I love, let me see if I can find it here real quick. I have it. We have a makeup finishing spray. Absolutely love this stuff. You're going to shake it. The reason that I love it is it helps set everything for 16 hours. So with the exception of your lips with eating and drinking and stuff, everything stays. I have a busy day today and I don't want anything going anywhere. So I'm just going to spray it. You're going to do an X, and then you're going to do a T about 6 to 12 inches away from your face. You're going to relax as you spray it. You don't want to scrunch up because you don't want your mascara to get everywhere. You're just going to relax, and it will dry within a few seconds, and you're just going to let it go, and it sets it. Kind of do usually an extra squirt in there, but there you go. So it's a little wet, but it'll dry within, maybe like 10 seconds, and you're good to go. So there you go. So comment what was something new that you learned today. If there was anything that you're like, wow, I did not know that. That was a great little tip. Let me know. Let me know also too. I forgot to mention who your consultant is as you are watching this as well too. So thanks guys for joining me for our Wake Up and Makeup. I hope this was educational for you. Talk to your consultants. Let us know if you have any questions, and make